we talk about George Santos?
Sure, we can.
That's where it came from.
Yeah. So what? I made some comment basically calling out Celeste
for being an establishment,
which I think this is well established.
She got 2 votes in, so 50. Yep.
And so now we got the ND. Now she's on the NDA.
It's a great example.
Side.
Like this is where I'm right there to agree with you. The part where I disagree with you about this being an example of the establishment is George Santos is a crook.
Okay.
He swindled his own voter base.
Right.
They voted him in.
Yeah.
On false pretense.
Okay.
And now they have no recourse of recalling him. 0 recourse.
Okay.
Congress does an investigation.
Right.
Finds him guilty of a lot of wrongdoing, not criminally, but within their own investigatory body.
Right.
Right. Just like if I was on a board of, any foundation or any other a board that has its own bylaws and rules,
right?
Found to be guilty of a bunch of really crappy things.
Give some examples.
I think one of the big ones that was investigated and found was misused campaign finance.
Right. So for what? What did he use it for?
A bunch of different stuff. OnlyFans being one of them.
Right.
Prostitutes, I think.
I don't think I didn't hear. Or you could be right. I didn't hear prostitutes.
I didn't look at.
I heard.
I
heard an OnlyFans account, and I heard hair stuff or weight stuff or tanning or some sort of personal appearance thing.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars. I think it was like 300,000 or something like that.
Right.
But then there was a bunch of other things that he was investigated on additionally to that.
Right.
And so
no criminal indictment
yet.
Okay. Fair enough.
I mean,
sure. I mean, things could happen in the future for sure. Right.
Yeah.
But has there ever been a congressperson?
All that aside, though, the point being is that whatever's happened, if we're going based off of what was the reasoning for expelling a Congress member at the time that they were investigated and it was put to a vote, right? There was enough people to make the decision to have it go to a vote. If it was presented to go to a vote,
right.
The vote came in and 2/3 of Congress voted to expel all of those members of Congress, right? The ones that have been in the past for whatever their reasonings were.
Well,
most
not
of them
for whatever their reasons. I mean, like there were actual reasons. I mean, like they broke a law. They were convicted.
They broke rules. They were
convicted of a law. Sorry. First of all, we have to understand that there are like 2 or 3 reasons why you can vote out a congressman, right? And one of them is actually breaking a law, right? Convicted of breaking a law.
Yeah,
right?
but it's not.
I think that happened once or twice.
In Article 1, it doesn't say that. It doesn't require a law to be broken. In Article 1 of the Constitution does not require that for expulsion of a congressman.
Sure, but that statement has one of the other reasons that also doesn't apply here, right? I mean, like you know, I don't know. There's so many angles to this whole thing. So,
would you agree though that he conned his voter base?
Sure, yeah. But did he con them any more than Biden conned their voter base?
Their voter base isn't asking whether he conned them or not. That hasn't been presented. The question hasn't been brought up until now. He just been the vote for impeachment, I think, presented yesterday or 2 days ago.
No. But the conning part is what I'm talking about, right? So like how many resume laws how many resume level things did Joe Biden lie about?
I have no idea.
Let's just say massive amount, right?
Say
like
a bunch of them.
The conning part is what I'm talking about, right? Like the conning part is really about, a
lie,
a lie about their resume, right? And so, yeah, George Santos said things like, "Well, I'm Jewish," meaning I'm Jew-ish, right? Like not actually a Jew, but Jew adjacent or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
He explained what he meant by it, right? But like, okay, so he lied about his resume. He lied about a number of things about his resume. Well, we have a ton of other people in power who have lied about their resume, and where's the accountability held on that? Anyway, I'm not going to argue that, and nowhere did I argue that defending what George Santos did. Like that's would be ridiculous, right? Like he did.
So
a bunch
if
of
you
bad
were
things.
a congressman and it came up and he wasn't a Republican, how would you have voted?
He wasn't a Republican.
Let's say he was a Democrat. He did all the things that he did in the investigation.
I would look at what were there
the evidence presented.
The evidence. Well, but again, I'm just going back to like one of the key factors here is, was he convicted of a crime? And he wasn't. And yet we have others who have been that didn't get evicted.
Expelled.
Yeah, there's three of them. Bowman, right? Like pled guilty and has a conviction. Mm-hmm. No vote.
No one called for a vote.
Right. Why didn't that happen?
Why?
Yeah, why didn't it happen?
I don't know.
Because we have weak Republicans in
Fair
office.
Enough. Okay.
Right.
Fair enough. This one was called for a vote.
And there's but that goes back to the source of the problem, right? The source of the problem is the things that get investigated, right? What things are getting investigated? Mm-hmm. What things aren't? Mm-hmm. What things are left to.
But I don't think that changes. I don't think that changes the moment that you're presented with the next thing that you're supposed to do, right? So are you saying that it's the congressman's, that when it got to the vote, it happened, whether it should have or shouldn't have, right, is one part of the question, but it did happen. It was called for a vote, presented with the evidence.
Right.
My expectation, electing a representative is that when those, I don't want them to abstain from something unless they legitimately don't have any ability to vote on it, right? But I want them to vote the way their constituency expects them to show up, is within their own understanding of the situation. Should that person still be a U.S. congressman or not? I'd expect them to say yes or no.
So I agree. Yeah, they should vote. So there's two things. There's one thing that you said, and there's one thing that you didn't say. So on the, should people represent who they represent? Well, yeah, absolutely, right. Mm-hmm. I mean, like Celeste represents a largely conservative constituency, right? Did she help conservative issues by making that vote? I think no, because now it will be much harder to pass conservative issues. So I think no. I think she didn't represent her people, her constituents. Then the thing that I think, to me, it's important. I guess
that's a great point, by the way.
I'm not hearing if it's important to you or not.
I appreciate that.
Is in my understanding of the issue, and I'm open to learning, but in my understanding of the issue, he did not. There was no means for expulsion, meaning the other expulsions that have happened in the past. So the precedent, which precedent is always important in law, the precedent was the congressman was convicted of a crime. And that didn't happen here. We can go up and down, and I don't disagree with you about the bad things that he did, but the precedent was convicted of a crime. He was not. To your point about bamboozled his, conned his district. Yeah, he probably did. But what was his voting record while he was in office? Do you know?
Nope.
It's like 85 or 95 to 97%. I forget the exact number, but it's like mid to high 90s voting for conservative issues. Mm-hmm. He represented his district to a very high degree, like to a non-arguable fighting for conservative issues level.
Fair enough.
So you can't say that he didn't represent his constituents. He did. He got voted in to be a conservative, and he did that. Mm-hmm. Right? You can say that he bamboozles his way in, and maybe some people wouldn't have voted for him, but like there's a lot of people that wouldn't have voted for Joe Biden if they were told in time about his involvement with all of the China things and
his son
and the stuff that we knew, the stuff that any smart person knew that was paying attention, knew that was on the laptop, was not just, it's Hunter doing this stuff. No, there's stuff on there about Joe Biden's crimes.
Yeah.
And they did a survey around, I think the number was 16% of people would not have voted for Joe Biden if they had heard about the laptop.
Right.
Okay. So he bamboozles his way in. He hid in a basement, didn't campaign, lied to voters, and he's still there. Mm-hmm. I don't.
But he should be. He shouldn't be. He shouldn't be there.
Well, and again, but why isn't he? right? Why isn't he? Right? We've had
Goes back to
almost. It goes back to what?
the establishment.
Yeah, because it goes back to what I was saying about what investigations are taking place, right? Like we've had Republican leadership in Congress for 3 years, and they've not done anything about any of this.
That's a good point,
right? Like now, only now they're starting to do a vote for impeachment. Like this is so long ago. Like how come now?
Right.
Like it needed to be done. It needed to be done. 2 years ago. Or more.
I'm going to concede my point just because the stories and the stuff that I heard made me cringe with George Santos. Like he's a deplorable. He's the type of person that I don't think should be representing in a political as whatever he is. Con man is not what I would want out of somebody who's representing us in United States House of Representatives.
Well, he's not representing you. He's representing his district.
As a human, just that body of the standard that is existing in that body.
He's representing his district and doing it well.
Not anymore.
All right, great. I will concede that point that I used present tense instead of past tense.
Not anymore. And they'll probably vote a Democrat in, which is going to be difficult for. At least that's what the polling shows, I guess, and however true that is. I'm not from New York. I don't know. I don't know. What his district actually believes, but I appreciate the point. I think you make a solid argument.